Running.
Again, my apologies for being such a bobblehead last Saturday. I was thinking during the game so much. We're trying to husband the lead all the way down to the bitter end, and by the time we got in here right after the game, I was still in contortions in my brain about what the heck was still going on. So it took me till I got up to radio to really get a perspective on this thing. So I'm sorry I did a bad job. Do a better job today. All right, let's talk about Portland State. First of all, it's great to be 1-0 in the season. Awesome pageantry and festivities last week for homecoming, and outstanding effort by our football team overall. We wanted to win by one or however. But the finest day quarterbacks had for us since I've been here in terms of completion percentage. And I think you recognized that early in the game last week that Tanner Guller is really growing by leaps and bounds about being contained within our offense and being able to throw the ball accurately on the bodies of receivers. His development is obviously the most important part of our program because we're a quarterback-centered program. It was great to see some explosive plays come from Josh Cook and Michael Dean. They did a nice job of containing Ja'Cory Ford, who the week before had an explosive play. Defensively, our pass rush evaporated down into one sack, and that's not the pass rush I thought we had. And so right now I'm back to biting my nails again about our pass rush for the season. Pretty good play by our linebackers, not great play, and you can tell Hayden Stout was extremely rusty. Gave him a couple key first downs by making missed drops. And then in the back end, Anthony Ricks has shown that he's grown past the fly ball threat. The other corners now are learning how to handle that. The run down the sideline against 2 times, we turn them loose on the outside with the freshman corners, and those freshman corners are learning on the job. So we've got to make sure we play better in that respect. And then the kick game, outstanding job by Sean and by Tommy, punting the ball away from their excellent returner, Isaiah Henning. But even better job, though, by Zach kicking the ball off. We had a couple touchbacks, and he also put the ball high. We had one that almost squirted out on us, but much better job by our kick game all the way around, and I think we're a much improved team. And we head to Portland State. Portland State, a very mentally tough team, gone through just unrecounted, unrequited tragedy. They lost a linebacker and offensive lineman. Those guys lost their lives. One of their defensive linemen had a young child who passed also. So they've had a really steep amount of adversity that other football teams never have to cover. And so I'm acknowledging that, and I'm mindful of it. Last week, going in to tie the game at 38, they were down on the 6-yard line, and their young right tackle made a mistake in protection and got pressure on Alex Caressa, their excellent quarterback, and Caressa forced the ball and threw an interception return for a touchdown. All of a sudden, a 38-38 tie evaporated into a 45-31 lead with under 2 minutes to go in the game. And it looked like Southern Utah had blasted Portland State out, but that hadn't been the case. It had been a good give-and-take game. Portland State with Caressa had been very good and will be very good this Saturday at home.
With Guller, you mentioned how he's improved. Is that just kind of been gradual over the season, or is there kind of one point where you saw it click?
No, he's getting more and more used to Matt coaching him. Matt's just really consistent, really thorough. And Tanner, he takes coaching. I mean, he really does. He takes coaching. If we say something to him one week, it's going to be done that week in the ball game. And we told him, be more accurate. Put the ball on the body of the receivers. If you don't put it on their body, put it on their face mask. And he threw, almost every pass he threw was a catchable, advanceable ball. And I harken back to maybe his best pass of the night was a pass he threw to Ja'Cory Ford on a slant off the backside that got us a first down when the lead was evaporating. So, again, being a quarterback is not just throw and pitch and catch, but you got to keep it in the strike zone, and he really understands that.
You guys run a lot of screenplays with him and stuff. When are you gonna, or are you going to allow him to go deep? Or are we going to see that? Are we going to see Tanner go long or anything like that?
We have really tried to emphasize throwing the ball deeper in practice. Yet our offense is really predicated on throwing the ball short, reading the coverage, and getting the ball out quick. And it doesn't lend itself to being the Darryl Monica bombs away thrower of the Oakland Raiders in the 1960s. Long before any of you guys were even wiggling. So Yeah, we have a deep ball threat, but primarily we like our deep ball or our deep yardage pass plays are going to come from short passes where guys catch and run, a la Josh Cook Saturday.
I know you don't game plan to have big explosive plays, but are you guys relying on those explosive plays too much? I mean, a lot of your touchdowns have come off 50 or plus yards. So are you relying on that too much?
No, I think it's cool that we would think of that. I think I got asked that question on Saturday, and I was like, no, we always plan to have 80 or 91 yard pass run plays. We want to score on every play. Every play is designed to go all the way. We want to break a tackle at the point of attack and get yardage after the catch or yardage after contact as a running back. And it's just, I think recruiting-wise is how you handle that. And we have more explosive players deep in our program, not just a running back, at wide receiver, and lots of spots that enable us to be a reach out and touch you type of team.
When you're facing a team that you say has faced that much adversity, how do you handle it mentally as going into their plays?
Well, Portland State's always been a hard-minded team. And they proved that by coming back into our place last year and bullying us away from the season. And the way they run the ball, the way they run their offense, they don't give you much let-up. And on defense, they play tough man-to-man coverage on the outside of corner. They have an excellent corner. He's been a 2-year starter who's just been a great dominant player. He's a stopper type of corner. So for us to be successful, it's real imperative that we match mental toughness with mental toughness and let iron willpower be the deciding factor. And that comes back just to 1 point, turnovers.
Wow. They've put the ball on the ground 14 times. How do you take advantage of that? Do you have defensive linemen who are chomping it, getting at the ball?
Keep praying to the turnover gods that they keep turning over. 2 years ago when we went down there and broke our long streak against them, they threw 5 interceptions, 3 of them to our cornerback Collins. So turnovers, as we proved Saturday, if Tanner doesn't turn the thing over at all, we probably are going to win. And on Saturday, when we had to go to replay to hold up from a turnover that he had been fed, the issue was a down. So again, Tanner's ball security is probably key for us, and our ability to get takeaways from all of their players on defense is going to be wild for us on Saturday.
Mike, Portland State had a very good front seven last year. They were reported to have had a good front seven this year. Yet they're near the bottom of the league in rushing yards allowed. What have you seen on tape? How are they getting gashed the way they have, and can you guys take advantage of that?
Well, they started a couple true freshmen in their defensive front. One plays a lot, the other one starts outright. We start a couple true freshmen in our front too, so part of the game will be daddy daycare for both coaches as you watch those young guys flop around out there. They're just a little young. They lost a lot of really, really good players. A very dominant defensive tackle from last year, and of course they had the offseason loss of a really outstanding linebacker that has not yet been replaced. So they've played 2 good teams that can run the ball too. San Jose State can run the ball a little bit, and of course the Huskies are not too bad. So Utah, it's a real jumbled mess in the conference about who's good and who's not, and nobody knows here in September. And now that October dawns on us on Saturday, time to get a little delineation in who's good in this conference and not.
What do they like to do on offense?
They're an option team. Alex Caress, their quarterback, is a hand the ball off or run the ball type of quarterback. Very mobile. He can throw a quick pass. He's really good on play action pass. But they're an option attack that doesn't necessarily look like an option attack. They disguise it pretty darn well. A hellacious challenge for us defensively because they really got after us last year. We actually played very good defense against them last year in a game that got away from us on the kickoff return. So we're mightily impressed with what they've always done offensively.
Is it a situation, Mike, where you have to try and take something away? Make Caressa beat you with either his arm or his leg, but you can't give him both options?
Yeah, they're not a read option team like Cal Poly is, where they run a dive back and then you got to cancel dive and then get the quarterback at the pitch. They run an option down inside where Caressa feels the defense flowing. If the defense isn't flowing, he pulls it and runs around the edge. So it's a different type of option. It's a little tougher to stop than most option attacks because they don't really leave anybody unblocked.
Do you guys try to run it more this week, knowing that they've struggled defensively against the run?
I have no idea. Everything we do offensively is predicated by what the defense is doing as the play begins. I have no idea. So, great question, and the truth for an answer.
You say your season kind of ended when they returned that punt return last year against you, that kickoff against you last year. Is that in the back of your guys' mind? Do you use that as motivation when you go in there?
Oh yeah, we changed our entire kick coverage. We fired the kick teams coach last year. We changed the way we do it, who plays it. Everything about our kickoff coverage is totally different than last year. We cannot allow history to repeat itself.
Any unavailabilities this week?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Who are they?
Yep, just gonna have to be at the game or listen on the radio, and I'll be glad to tell you then. Because no use, I don't have to give anybody information, and no use helping Portland State out. So you can listen to Jerry and Mark talk about it early, and they'll tell you who's playing and who's not. But the one thing about it, I can talk about guys that are back, and it's great. Brian Finney-Longanofo comes back as a starter at left tackle, and Chase Collins now moves back to his traditional starting right tackle position. And it's great to have two starters back. Also, Cody Abbott will travel and probably play quite a bit. So we get three quasi-starter and offensive linemen back. I feel nothing but good now about where our front's really starting to develop on offense.
So then, Kyle Jones wasn't right tackle. Where does that put him?
Kyle slides to number 2 left tackle.
Okay.
Garrett Smith has had a great week of practice, slides up to number 2 right tackle.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You talked about not getting too low after those 2 losses. How do you not get too high after this homecoming win?
It's harder. It's much harder in football, maybe in all sport, but maybe in football more than any other sport, to maintain, to be good after a win. It's really hard. And that's why you see the best coaches in our business, Nick Saban at Alabama and Bill Belichick at New England, they're not nice guys. They're not. I mean, they have pleasant personalities, but after a win, they're grinding. About the time in this profession you start patting yourself on the back, it's about the time somebody whacks you and levels the playing field. So, again, for us, it's concentration, it's focus, it's head coach driven, and we're making a point this week. Wins are fun, wins are awesome, wins are enjoyable, and they don't last.
But you've talked so often about 1,000 days at the Big Sky Conference. It's been maybe 600 since your last winning season. So to go for a chance to go 2-0 in conference, what's that say about this team and building?
Well, again, Jeff, it's our first road game in the conference. We've only played a 1-game season so far. Do I know what kind of team we have? No, I'm not really sure yet. Really, I'm not. I thought we were settled on defense with a pretty good pass rush, and we ended up in 60 called passes last week, getting 1 sack. That's not a pass rush. That's a pillow fight. So we've got to have pass rush to be successful in this game, in this season, in this program.